Hi, my name is Ekta and I'm the founder of Invisible Scars, a support group that helps people who are facing domestic abuse. Whenever I create a video, it is usually because of questions I get asked by survivors who reach out to me in great distress. One of the issues that keeps coming up over and over again is that of abusive mother-in-laws. But before we start today's video, we do want you to know that while we get several complaints about how badly some mother-in-laws treat their daughter-in-laws, once in a while we do hear about very caring, loving and non-interfering mother-in-laws. We also hear about abusive daughter-in-laws. So setting that aside, we go on to the rest of the video. Mothers are supposed to be loving and nurturing. Then what is the reason that some mothers are loving and nurturing towards their own children but do not hesitate in abusing those married to their own children? In the context of our culture, a mother-in-law trying to dominate, bully, control or humiliate her daughter-in-law is not seen as problematic. Daughter-in-laws are expected to put up with highly toxic behavior, not complain about it, and follow it like rules set in stone. If these daughter-in-laws ever ask their husbands to intervene or help in managing this relationship, they are often shut down, not believed, asked to bear with this behavior, face a complete lack of empathy, or sometimes even abused both physically and mentally by the partner who they are supposed to trust the most. Most of the times, the reasons given to tolerate abusive in-laws ranges from them having had a difficult or abusive past themselves or the fact that they are old and helpless. A good mother-in-law could be the difference between a good and a bad life. It may also make a difference to the future of your family and your children. Mother-in-laws who are toxic generally compartmentalize the abuse and are typically aggressive and reverse complain if the same abusive situation is faced by their own daughters. We are living in the 21st century and over a period of almost a few decades or more, the way girls are being raised is evolving rapidly. Just because a mother-in-law has faced domestic abuse and was controlled and forced when she was younger, she does not need to continue the cycle of abuse. She can also break the cycle of abuse. Being a nice mother-in-law means that there is likelihood of having a more loving daughter-in-law. Give her the space to grow and adjust to the family. Accept that she will take up more of your son's time and space. She can give him what you cannot. So please don't compare yourself with her. This is not a contest to prove which of you is superior. Try to understand and imbibe some of her value systems because they may be better than yours. Understand what kind of mother-in-law you are and break the cycle of abuse today. Imagine if your son or grandchildren are sufferers in the long run. It is important to note that a person may also possess an overlap of traits mentioned below. If you want to be treated with love and respect by your family, then you have to begin by giving them love and respect yourself. Number 1, the compassionate one. Far and few, this kind of mother-in-law will not subject her daughter-in-law to bad behavior simply because she has faced it. She will try her best not to create a rift between her son and her daughter-in-law. She is kind and gives her daughter-in-law time to become part of the family. She starts to share decision-making in the house and doesn't treat her daughter-in-law shabbily. She is mostly non-interfering and does not give her daughter-in-law instructions on how to live, how to dress, what to eat, etc. This compassionate mother-in-law is not only a good person, she is also confident and does not suffer from low self-esteem or insecurity. She understands that such battles can distance her from her own children, or she could be treated badly and disrespected when she is older, if she doesn't give and earn respect. Over time, she becomes her daughter-in-law's friend and confidant, and soon they may share a very good bond. She will be loved by her grandchildren and respected by her daughter-in-law and son. Number 2, the progressive one. This kind of mother-in-law is very cool. She is very modern and has her own life and things that she is busy with. She is her own person. She has an active social life to keep her busy. She is mostly non-interfering, and even if she stays with you, she keeps pretty much to herself. She wants space and she allows you the same space. She doesn't comment on your clothes and lets you be. In fact, sometimes she may even encourage you to do things that are out of your comfort zone. A progressive mother-in-law does not think that household work is the end-all and be-all of being a woman. She is the kind who will respect your space and expect you to respect hers. She will gladly help you as required, but will expect that you are able to manage most of your tasks independently. She does not care too much about what people think and is very comfortable in her own skin. She may not take up the responsibility of helping you with your kids and all your household work all the time, but she is certainly the kind of grandmother who the kids would love being around because she would make them feel independent. She usually does not indulge in gossip and minds her own business. She is very comfortable to be around, and over a period of time, you end up becoming more of a friend. Number 3, the snobbish one. This kind of mother-in-law is someone who thinks very highly of herself. She is very conscious of the way she looks to other people and may sometimes act very privileged. She may tend to look down upon other people and would expect her daughter-in-law to follow whatever family traditions that she has created. She would expect her daughter-in-law to like the people she likes and not associate with those that she doesn't. She is someone who is not very liked among relatives and friends. To her, her image and reputation mean everything, and she does not take lightly to anyone who tries to come in the way. She may be arrogant at times. Her behavior is a consequence of her issues and not anyone else's. She cannot bear to let anyone know about her or her family's shortcomings. She could be a little bossy and dominating due to this. Sometimes her word is always the last word. Number 4, the overbearing one. Well, she is one of those mother-in-laws who needs to have the last word in every single situation. She is very negative, very dominating, and cannot bear to see anyone not following her instructions. She will manipulate everyone around her to make sure she is in control. She would pick up issues as small as what her daughter-in-law wears around the house, what she eats, where she goes, or who her friends are. She always wants to be part and parcel of everything that involves her son and her daughter-in-law. Such a mother-in-law can be very difficult to put up with, especially if you've grown up in a very progressive environment, because she uses tradition and culture to mask everything that she is demanding you to do. She will simply say things like, "Oh, this is part of our culture and you have to do it." She may also resort to meanness if she feels that she is being defied in any manner. She expects everyone to have her permission for whatever they are going to do. Her need to be in control is so intense that nothing really matters to her. She may also use emotional manipulation to get anyone in the family to do whatever she wants. Number 5, the interfering one. This kind of mother-in-law is low on self-esteem. This sense of low self-esteem is what makes her want to know everything and know that she is not being left out of anything. She suffers from intense FOMO, fear of missing out. Therefore, she has her nose in everything you do. By virtue of being so interfering, she'll keep correcting you on a daily basis. She micromanages her daughter-in-law's ability to cook, to do home-related tasks, in the way she is raising her children, in the way she keeps her house, in her friendships and in her relationships. She is so nosy that she might invalidate you if she ever feels that she is being left out of anything. This interference usually happens because she finds it entertaining. She thrives on this kind of entertainment no matter what the cost is. She is least bothered if it causes the rest of her family members. Number 6. The dominating one. A dominating mother-in-law may actually be a nice person, but may have lived herself in a lot of strictness and discipline. She therefore expects that everyone will follow the same discipline and rules that she has set for the family. She rules the house with an iron fist, and mostly other members of the family are unable to speak up against her. She is usually someone who has been through a lot of trauma in the earlier years of her life and has used order as a way to stay in control of things. She may not necessarily be someone who wants to hurt the other person, and many times she does not understand that she is not allowing space for others to grow. Sometimes when she is made to understand about her domination and control, she finds it difficult to cope up. She is someone who can be managed with love, care and respect once she realizes that despite not being in control, she isn't losing out on anything. Such mother-in-laws are usually very fiercely protective of their family, especially the grandchildren, and she might help you in the times you need it the most. All she needs is your love and respect. Number 7. The victim. She is someone who plays the victim card. She may have been forced to put up with a bad marriage or abusive people around her due to lack of support, and hence she starts to become a victim of her circumstances. When she becomes the mother-in-law, she might end up playing the victim card to get whatever she wants to get because she has spent most of her life obeying or listening to others. A mother-in-law like this uses a lot of emotional blackmail, sulking and pouting to get her work done. She does not understand that she could be the one who breaks the cycle of abuse and does not need to perpetuate that abuse any further. She has used the victim card all her life to get people to notice her or pay attention to her needs. And she hence thinks that the only way to go about life is this. Sometimes emotional drama becomes part of her nature and she will not hesitate to use it when it is required. It is when she uses the victim card to manipulate others that it becomes a problem. Else, she is just someone who is in need of some validation and most definitely some counseling to help her overcome this victimhood. Number 8. The greedy one. This kind of mother-in-law is found aplenty in our country. She has an extremely patriarchal and regressive mindset and feels that her son is a commodity for which she should get the best price. She also believes that a daughter-in-law and her family are meant to continue to serve her and take care of her family's financial needs. She may outrightly demand dowry and money or gifts for her or her relatives, or she may use manipulative tactics to get a daughter-in-law's parents to cough up huge amounts of money on some pretext or the other. This kind of mother-in-law feels that she is superior to her daughter-in-law or any family member of the daughter-in-law. She not only treats them very badly, but also constantly asks for gifts, some money in cash and kind. She misbehaves when she isn't given what she asks for. These are the mother-in-laws that are still in the 21st century demanding dowry, abusing their daughter-in-laws, both physically and mentally, calling them names, humiliating them, and shaming. Number 9. The narcissist one. A narcissist mother-in-law is one of the worst people that you can ever come across. She may be overtly narcissistic or she may be covertly narcissistic. In either case, the abuse that she metes out to her daughter-in-law can be very harmful. She can cause an environment of toxicity. She can play the victim card. She can get her son and her daughter-in-law to fight, and she can continue to expect to be treated like a queen in the midst of all this. She gaslights everyone in the family and does not hesitate to lie, steal, or hurt anyone as long as her needs are being met. She will say and do things and then simply deny that they ever happened. If you suspect that you have a narcissistic mother-in-law, then you should speak to a counselor and understand the traits that she might display. Once you figure out that she is a narcissist, you should accept that she will do everything in her power to destroy your relationships or hurt you because she simply has no empathy. For her, this is just a way to exert control and get everyone to do her bidding. She has a sense of entitlement that is bewildering. Having this kind of mother-in-law and living with such a person on a regular basis can be very harmful to the mental health of a family. It may be a good idea to take your spouse into confidence if he is indeed willing to listen to you about your experience. In case your spouse isn't willing to listen to you, help you, or empathize with you, you must simply try and disengage, because she's so toxic that she might end up destroying your life, the life of your children, and her son's life as well. Such a mother-in-law suffers from a personality disorder and will not change unless she undergoes extensive counseling and therapy. In conclusion, I hope this video is helpful in identifying the different kinds of mother-in-laws that exist. It is also to make her children aware that there are mothers of these kinds. While it is okay to revere your mother, it is not okay to expect your wife to do it without you making a secure and loving place for her in your home. It is also your responsibility to accept and ensure that your mother does not misbehave with your wife or vice versa. Since you are the person who is common to both these women, it is your responsibility to manage the equation between both till they reach a point of understanding with each other. Trying to escape from managing this relationship may lead to long-term harmful impact to your home and relationship with your wife and children. If you have a mother who possesses traits number 3, 4, 5, 7 and 8, please do know that there is a possibility of your mother being abusive. If your wife complains to you, don't shut her down outrightly. Listen to her and get to know what she feels and thinks. Take your mom out for lunch, coffee or shopping and talk to her without being rude. Let her know that all of these behaviors fall into the category of domestic abuse and are punishable by law. The onus of breaking the cycle of abuse also lies on you, because children who grow up in toxic environments can be psychologically disturbed individuals, and the impact of this kind of abuse will be visible in both their personal and professional lives right now and in future. Thank you for listening to me. My next video will be about toxic daughter-in-laws and their traits. Yes, we know and accept that daughter-in-laws can also be abusive, and we will surely address the topic. Our objective at Invisible Scars is to focus on building healthy relationships, because everyone deserves a happy home. Do like, share and subscribe to my channel. Goodbye.